Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Ellis Nordhoff, and today I'm joined by Adi from the Albion Roar to talk about Everton's game against Brighton on Saturday at 3 o'clock in the Premier League. How you doing, Adi?
Yeah, good, thanks. Busy.
Well, yeah, it's a massive game for us. We've been on a really good run of form recently. I'm sure you've seen because last time you played us, we were in a completely different spot. And I'm sure I will mention last time you played us at some point in this show, but I won't for now. I'll leave it just yet. How are you feeling about Brighton so far this season?
Um, we're doing okay. I mean, it's there's a lot more expectation this year because we did so well last year, qualifying for Europe for the first time in our history. And there's a very distinct chance that the European adventure is overshadowing everything else a little bit. But we're sitting seventh at the moment. We're doing okay. We haven't really hit our straps yet this season. Had a lot of injuries, and last summer, I mean, everyone quite rightly raves about Brighton's recruitment, but last summer when you lose the best defensive midfielder in the world and a World Cup winner, which is probably the best midfielding pairing in the league last year, it's going to leave a massive hole in your team. And this season so far, it's just been pretty much just a case of trying to fill that. We've always had this next cab off the rank thing going on, where if we sell someone, the next player is already there and waiting to come through. We probably weren't expecting to sell Moises this summer, but he is the best in the world at what he does. It does hurt that he's gone to Chelsea. We're disgusted about it actually, but you know he'll do really well there once he settles in. But we've got other players come through, but they're not quite at that level yet.
Yeah, well, you've lost some huge players, haven't you? You'd expect some sort of drop off, probably a much bigger drop off than you have actually had so far this season. To lose Alexis McAllister and then Moises Caicedo as well, two massive players. And I think
Mm.
Brighton are known for dealing with those kind of situations really well. And I think even though they deal with it well, we have to recognize that that is a tough situation for the club, isn't it?
It's massive because I mean, how do you replace the irreplaceable? It's like but it's a sliding doors moment. When Jakob Moda got injured against Norwich a couple of years ago, that opened the door for Moises to come in. Um, and now that he's gone, it'll open the door for someone else to come in. We've got Carlos Baleba, he's only 19. He's very young. He's very raw, but he's a similar sort of player to Moises. And from what we've seen of him so far, we're really enjoying it. But he is very young. He's very raw. He's not quite there yet. And but he's got exactly the same shooting ability as both Moises and Yves Bissouma. So if anyone in the Gladys Street, I would take a helmet just in case.
That's a good one to note for all the Gladys Street listeners and watchers on here. I'm sure there's quite a few. But yeah, it is a big thing to lose them kind of players. And you've still done quite well, though. I think a lot of credit has to go to Roberto De Zerbi. What a job he has done since he came in. What do you think of De Zerbi as a guy, as a manager? He came in taking over from Graham Potter, who obviously worked wonders and perhaps overtook him and made them even better.
Oh, massively. We were under Graham. Look, I mean, we're not. Again, we're back to Chelsea again. The fact
You
that
must hate
Graham went.
Chelsea.
Uh, Absolutely horrible club from top to bottom. Have you ever seen Todd Bowley and Cartman from South Park in the same room at the same time? No, me either.
No.
It's anyway, no clap. Cheesy puffs. It's but it's like, yeah, he looked at well-run club in the dictionary and saw a picture of Brighton of Albion and oh my god.
Just went to
And like
poach it. He just tried to poach the whole club,
yeah,
didn't he?
yeah. But no, basically, but I mean, Graham did work wonders with the team. All the players loved playing under him. The only issue we were having, we became Brighton and XG Albion. We were cutting sides wide open, creating excellent chances, but not really taking any of them. So Roberto's come in, and all of a sudden we're scoring goals, and we're looking much more of a threat. I mean, the thing with Roberto is you're more likely to lose a game 5-4 than win it 1-0.
Yeah.
So basically, it's risk and reward football. He does leave us open at the back. We've yet to keep a clean sheet in the league this season. That's a concern. We did in the Europa League against Ajax, and I think we probably celebrated the clean sheet more than the win. Actually, it was. I mean, Ajax is just truly woeful at the moment. But Roberto, he's a character. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and he just expects a lot from his players, and he works them very, very hard. He doesn't suffer fools gladly. If a player's had a bad game, he'll say they've had a bad game. But he won't. But he'll do that in such a way that he won't throw them under the bus. Basically, he's very much an arm around the shoulder manager, a man manager, and the players absolutely adore him and what he's and playing in this team, because I mean the football is just sensational. It's been brilliant to watch, and this season hasn't, like I said, we haven't quite hit the levels of the last season yet. But we've also got a lot of injuries which we're coping with, and when you're losing someone like Pervis Estepinian and Tarek Lamptey, like fullbacks that will get you further up the pitch, and it makes life a lot easier for rather than playing like James Milner or Pascal Gross. Pascal Gross, when he's running at full speed, looks like the intro to the Baywatch music, but it's like, but it's he's but it's quite. I mean, it's very much like the Dutch method, actually. Of total football. Every player has to be able to play in every position, and the way that it's going with us with the injuries, that's actually having to happen a little bit because the squad isn't that deep.
Yeah, well, it's innovative, I think, as well, the style, and it does require every player to be technically gifted. But you say it's sensational football, but it's also new ideas that we haven't quite seen yet. And it's as if that De Zerbi's actually having an impact on other managers in the league as well. There's so many neat little tricks that are coming into that way of playing that just haven't been
Yeah,
used yet. I saw quite a few pieces on the standing on the ball tactic. I'm sure you've discussed that before about how they kind of bait
yeah.
the press by standing on the ball. There's so many unique tactics that he's been using, and to think he came from absolutely nowhere in true Brighton style. You plucked him from Sassuolo. No one had heard of him. Next minute, he's one of
But
the
to be
best
fair, he
managers in the
was
league.
at Shakhtar before that. Basically, he was actually. I mean, the story is he was manager at Shakhtar Donetsk. They were doing really well. They were top of the league. They were doing okay in the Champions League, and then the war happened, and all football got shut down. And actually, Roberto, and this is a true measure of the man. Basically, he refused to leave Ukraine until the last of the players had gone.
Right? Really?
Had got out of the country, and and then basically when Graham left, Roberto was available, but he was well, I don't. The club have come out and said that he was the only person on the list. I mean, I'm kind of suspect that's not quite right, but but he was first, second, and third on that list, and he was their first choice, and we can clearly see why. I mean, we're just loving it at the moment.
Oh yeah, it must be brilliant for you guys. It's exactly what we'd want to see as well. To see your team playing free flowing football, scoring loads of goals as well. But if you look at Everton, Everton is a completely different situation. Our manager is a lot more pragmatic. We tend to see the 1-0s that you don't see, and we don't see the 5-4s. And it's up to anyone's personal preference what they'd rather see, in fact, really. But Everton have really had an upturn in form in recent weeks, really, and we're now on 5 wins out of 7. So I'd say you're playing us at quite a difficult time, really. What have you made of Everton so far and the sudden upturn in form?
Well, it couldn't get any worse, could it? It was. I mean, it's just a case of. I mean, you know what you're going to get with Sean Dyche, don't you? It's no nonsense. Get the job done. Get the result. Again, the players go out on the pitch. the players like to know what they're doing. They don't like to know. Look at Man United. The players are going out on that pitch. They have not got a clue what they're doing. There doesn't appear to be a plan. But if they go out with a game plan, is right. You've got to be here. You've got to be here. This is going to happen. You're going to be here. That's basically what they want. They need to have that clear instruction. It's and sometimes it takes a while to get in there. You've had issues with injuries. You haven't had your best players on the pitch. I know there's a lot of talk. There was a lot of talk about Neil Maupay, but I mean, look, we love Neil still. He's didn't have the greatest time there.
No, he didn't.
But I mean, it's an interesting one because I mean, strikers are always going to be judged by goals. And when he was with us, he probably took 1 in 6 clear-cut chances in that Brighton XG Albion team where we should have scored more goals. And he was probably partly culpable for that. But what people don't talk about is the work that he puts in off the ball, the work that he does for the other players. And other players actually love playing with him because he does all the hard yards. And you don't necessarily get judged by goals. But, he's gone back to Brentford for a bit. And that will do him the world of good. But don't just judge strikers on goals. But but you were your team at the time. You needed goals. Calvert-Lewin was injured. You were relying on Decore to pop up with the occasional goal. You weren't really getting the goals from defence. Which was pretty much a textbook Dyche team. So you for it to come into fruition. We know that Everton are a big club. We know what the supporters expect. We know there's been issues off the pitch and continue to be issues off the pitch. And the sooner you get that resolved, the better. I mean, having this threat of the 12, is it 12 points?
Yeah.
Having that 12-point penalty over you, that's got to be slightly worrying. But then you look at the other teams in this league this year, even with that, you might be all right because, I mean, Sheffield United are gone already. You've got Bournemouth, they won at the weekend. Burnley,
some very poor teams in the league, isn't there, this season?
Yeah. So, we were talking on our show this week that last season pretty much was a bit of an anomaly. Not because we finished where we did. Which is the highest place finish we've ever had. It was the fact that we had the World Cup in the middle of the season. You had players playing more games than they ever had. You had and the fact that you had the massive drop off with Chelsea, you had the massive drop off with Liverpool, you had the drop off with Spurs, and it actually allowed other teams to actually take the gauntlet on that and actually progress and actually finish higher up the table. Whether that happens again this year, we've already seen Liverpool improve. We've seen Spurs top of the table. Chelsea are going to get better. I hate to say Chelsea, horrible club. So I'm keeping it clean. But yeah, so I mean, I think that it's going to be. We know what sort of game to expect on Saturday. It's going to be similar to one at the Amex, I would very much imagine, the one that you keep wanting to talk about. But
I'll talk about it, don't you worry.
Well, here's a shocker. Everton won 5-1 and we were the better team.
Oh,
so
come on.
We Everton had a game plan. It was the same against West Ham this year. Basically, we absolutely battered them but couldn't score. Everton had a counter-attack plan and you scored every time you went forward and it worked to a T.
But how do you win a football match? Who scores more goals? That's how you win.
That is exactly it. We're going to score more goals than you. That's exactly how it worked. And it got to the point where it was just, I think our players' heads dropped in that game. But take nothing away from Everton. It was you needed a win and you got a win, and that was, if that's the way you can win, by hitting us on the counter when everyone's forward. It worked brilliantly, and we just were shocking at the back. We couldn't defend that day, but if you look at the stats, we actually had more shots and got on target than you in that game. It's unbelievable.
It felt like
But
everything we touched had turned to goals that day. It really was like
they
that.
really
We
did. I
we
mean,
played
you know,
so well.
fair play to you, but it's like, you know, we're it's rare to come out of a 5-1 drubbing and think, oh, but we didn't actually play that badly. It's like it was just surreal, really. But
It was a surreal match in general, I think, and the fact that we beat you 5-1, nobody could have foreseen that on the day, and we were
well, it
so
kept you
pleased
up.
with that. It'll be a match that I'll never ever forget as an Evertonian, and we don't score 5 goals often, so we deserve that day. I really do think we earned it, and I
Yeah,
think
but can I just point out that we won 4-1 at your place, and
oh,
you
we're not allowed to
conceded
mention that
this.
on this.
I mean, I refer you back to Pascal Gross, who, when he's running at full power, looked like he's going backwards, and he scored a breakaway goal.
Yeah.
So you know,
That
swings and
was a dark
roundabouts.
time. That was a really tough one at home. So who knows what's going to happen in the next game because we've seen two completely contrasting results. So
0-0.
yeah, maybe that is it. You might have just called it there. But if we look at this game individually now, let's look at it and think: how are you guys going to make sure that it doesn't happen again? How are you going to not fall into Sean Dyche's trap and get beat by counter-attacking football? Because yes, at
Like I said,
Goodison Park, we've got to
we
be
won't do
on
anything.
front foot. But
We
what are
won't
you
do
going to do?
anything different. We're not going to do anything different.
So you're going to lose 5-1 again?
No. Well, like I said, I reiterate the fact we were actually creating more chances than you. We just didn't score any, and it was a sliding doors moment, really. I mean, another day, those chances go in, your heads drop. It's a different game. But you know, the fact is that you got the early goal. You have the fact that Decore was brilliant in that game. It was, you know, that. I mean, that's the worry. I mean, your best player is probably Decore. Would you agree?
I'd say he can be really effective away from home. I'd say we've got better players, but he was incredible that day against you guys, and
Yeah.
he is the guy who sets the
So,
press, so that's why he looks so good against you.
but I mean, basically, deserving. We know roughly how we're going to play. It's just a case of what the personnel is going to be on the day, who's available, who's fit. Um, I think. I mean, this week is an unusual one for us because we haven't had a midweek game for the first time in ages. So we actually that will do us the world of good. They're good to give us a chance to actually for Deserby to actually do some coaching and actually just reiterate what the plan is and how he wants it to work. I mean, I can't pick what team he's going to put out. I mean, he's changed it every single game so far. We've seen 4 or 5 changes in each game, so it's difficult to see. But I know the way we play is going to largely be the same. I know we'll create a lot more a lot of chances. It's just a case of whether we actually take them on this particular game, which is like I said, we lost 5-1, but didn't play badly.
Yeah.
So if we play the same sort of way, like I said, we went up there and we won 4-1 last time. So we're hoping for a repeat of that performance and not not the opposite. But I think it's going to be tighter. I think Dyche will know that where our threats are, and we've just got to be a little bit cuter. That's all. We've got to take our chances when they come. I mean, against Fulham at the weekend, another VAR controversy. Yippee! It's like we call it. If we ever see Michael Salisbury again, I mean, it's like we see him. It's like, it's the Salisbury poisonings once more.
Oh
It
God.
is. It is. I mean, this is the guy who he was the VAR for our game at Spurs last year, where we had not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 decisions go against us that Howard Webb had to come down to Lancing to the training ground and apologise individually for each single error that
Really?
Michael Salisbury made in that particular game. 2 goals disallowed that shouldn't have been disallowed. 2 penalties given that should have been given. And a red card that should have been given. It was absolutely fun. And once more, Salisbury was the man in the middle against Fulham at the weekend. I don't know if you've seen it, but there was a clear elbow by Polina on Pascal Gross.
I saw it, yeah.
I mean, I don't know what planet anyone was on that one, but that was clear red card all day long. And who gets the equaliser?
Sod's law, isn't it? Palhinha gets the
And
equaliser.
I mean, we can't pin it all on that because, like, the point I was going to make was that it was another game where we absolutely battled them. We created so many excellent gilt-edged chances, and we just didn't take them. We were only able to take the one of them. And again, on another day, those go in. I mean, we have got injury issues, we have got personnel issues. It's and obviously that does play into it a little bit. But the team that was out on the pitch was good enough to win that game comfortably,
Yeah.
and we believe that any team that Roberto will put out on Saturday will be good enough to win that game comfortably.
Well, I think they'll be looking to rectify that then, won't they? If if didn't get the win against Fulham, you need to be beating Everton, don't you, on paper, I
Yeah.
suppose. But where is it that you look at Everton and go, this is where Everton can catch you out? What would you say what we need to do to beat you guys?
On the break.
Is it as simple as that?
Basically,
Is it as
that's
simple
it.
as that?
We think we did have a little bit of a soft underbelly from set pieces earlier in the season and towards and a little bit last season. We seem to have rectified that a little bit. It's basically one of the issues is because he said he's going to stop doing this so much now, but he was rotating the goalkeeper every 2 games. I don't know. It's not something I necessarily agree with, but but that's probably because we've never really seen it before. And you see other positions rotate all the time. So why not rotate the goalkeepers? But is that the reason why we haven't had a clean sheet? So I suspect Jason still will start. But whether Estupinian and Lamptey will be fit or not, I don't know. Or whether we'll have Pascal at right back or Milner at left back or right back. That's the issue because the lack of pace there, and whether the player in front of them is going to cover like they didn't at Man City. So
Right.
that could be a possible issue, but. I don't. We're going confident. We go into every game confident that we can win, and we go into confident that we will win. It's just that sometimes you don't.
Yeah, very true, very true. And it may be that the fullback areas could be where we get you because we need to play the ball down the wing quite a lot for crosses. So it might help us get a few more crosses into the box if you've got the likes of James Milner at fullback. So I'm going to be pretty
Yeah, but
positive, I
then we've
think.
got to look at if Lewis is fit, well, Lewis Dunn will be playing, so he's pretty much the only one guaranteed to start every game at the moment. But we've got Danny Welbeck's injured, Solly March is probably out for the season. You've got issues all over the place where with fitness issues, and obviously we've got a big game coming up on the Thursday as well. So hopefully we won't take our eyes off the prize on Saturday too much, but like I said, we're confident, and like Evan Ferguson had a great time up at Goodison last season,
You
and
did.
let's hope he can have a better time this time.
Well, let's hope he doesn't. I'll call on you now for your prediction. I want you to fully unbiased Brighton versus Everton.
3-1.
Who 3-1 to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna just do slightly worse than you did last year.
Well, I'll take 6. I mean, we owe you one.
Yeah, you do. To be fair, you do. I'm sure there'll be a bit of a vengeance there,
There
but
will be. Roberto was angry. He was very, very angry after that game, and he gets like a bear with a sore head when he's angry. It's like so yeah, he'll be hungry for some sort of revenge. But I think we win. I think we'll win comfortably.
well, we're in good form though, so I think you might be underestimating us a little bit. So
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna back us,
against teams against we do better against teams that want to play us. That's the thing. So
and we won't want to play you like that.
if Everton are confident, that's good because if teams come out and try and play against us, that's when the gaps open up for us to exploit.
I think I'm going to go positive with us. I think we're going to get a 1-0. I'm going to say we're going to somehow keep you out, and you're going to concede like you have in every game this season.
We've scored, and then we scored in every game this season. So
I think it's time for you to be kept out from Sean Dyche's magical defense. But yeah, it might happen. It
magic.
might not. Who knows? We'll have to see. And
It
if I'm
might.
right, then you'll
It
have to
might.
say sorry to me, won't you?
That's why we're having this conversation, right?
Definitely. But before you go, I've got one final question to ask you, actually.
Go on.
So, 3 people, footballers, celebrities, actors, anybody, who would you like to go and sit down and have a meal with, have a chat to all night, and have a great night with? Who would it be and why?
Yeah, that's a good one. Billy Connolly. Oh God. Um, I know too many footballers, and I don't really want to sit down with them. So
Fair enough.
like um, Hans Cray, a former Brighton player, who I just wanted to sit down and have a chat with him because I've been trying to get him to do our show in Amsterdam next week, and I can't bloody find him. So that
Really.
would help. Um, and Taylor Swift just for the laugh.
What a trio that is, and I bet that trio's never been in the same room before. Don't
Well,
think they'd have
no,
even imagined to be in the same room before.
well, the Hans Cray is he's a delightful character, and he only played. You sometimes you get these players that they might not play very many games for you. He only played I think 28 games for us, but he's just became such a legend, and he's like. I mean, he only signed for us because he was suspended in Holland for punching a referee,
Oh, really? So
and
he's the cult hero type then?
yeah, and Chris Catlin was our manager at the time, and like Hans came in to see Chris in the on the Thursday, and he says, "Boss, I need tomorrow off." I goes, "Oh, why is that, Hans? Why? Oh, I'm getting married. Oh, congratulations! But we got a game Saturday. Oh no, yes, but I'm getting married. But yeah, but I thought you were single yesterday. Yes, boss, I was. I met you in Pink Coconut last night.
What? Like, he will have stories then, won't he, for sure?
Yeah, so yeah, you can imagine. So Hans, talk to me about playing the football. That'd be great.
Well, hopefully you can get in touch with him before Thursday's game, where you guys get to luckily go and play Ajax on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
We'd absolutely love that. But thanks very much for coming on, AD. It's
Yeah.
been great to have you on.
I know my missus doesn't want me to go to any club called the Pink Coconut anymore. That's for
Definitely not. Cheers for coming on, mate.
sure.
But yeah, so that is all from the Toffee Blues today. The opposition view kickoff Saturday, 3 p.m. Hopefully, Everton can do it, even though AD tells us we can't. Maybe we can, but we hope you enjoyed the video. Please do leave a like if you did. Drop us a comment. Give us your predictions because ours are so different. So give us yours. But that's all for now. See you in a bit.